Welcome back. We're going to continue now with the scores. But before we do that, it's time right now to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 Week 15 trivia question. That's a 49ers trivia question. Of their first 5 Super Bowl appearances, how many did the San Francisco 49ers win? Excuse me. And if you said 5, you are correct. The 49ers won Super Bowl 16, Super Bowl 19, Super Bowl 23, Super Bowl 24, and Super Bowl 29. And I'll have another trivia question on my next podcast, which will be tomorrow on the Browns pregame show, the Scott Sports 101 Monday night Browns pregame show and Monday Night Football pregame show. So stay tuned for that. Now continuing on with the scores, the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Denver Broncos today in Mile High today, 15-10. Denver had opportunities, but they just could not. And Denver struggled offensively and defensively today in this game. But they just could not get the win. And Khaled Kareem scratched the ball from backup quarterback Drew Lock on a second, and again and go to. He scratched the ball on a second and just really on a second and goal at the Cincinnati and the Cincinnati Bengals seized the first place tie with the Baltimore Ravens at top of the AFC North with a 15-10 win over the Denver Broncos on Sunday. And the Broncos did threaten to retake the lead, but they could not do it. And the Bengals just prevailed in this one. And I got to give the game balls to the Bengals. I got to give them to Joe Burrow, 15-22, carries and attempts, 157 yards, 1 touchdown. Joe Mixon, 17 attempts, 58 yards, no touchdown. And I think it's Tyler Boyd. 5 receptions, 96 yards, 1 touchdown. Just Cincinnati prevailed in this one. And for the last one, I took Tennessee. My brother-in-law took Pittsburgh. I won and I lost. He won on that one. And for this, we both took. He took the Broncos. I took Cincy. My brother-in-law lost. I won. All right, now. That completes the early games. We had a few late games today in the Sunday night. Actually, the Denver Cincy was one of the late games. The San Francisco 49ers beat the Atlanta Falcons 31-13 at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. The San Francisco 49ers just had this one in hand from the get-go. And it was tied at 3 in the first, but then the 49ers took over. And they just had it from the get-go, and they never let up in this one. They just never let up, and Atlanta had chances, but they could not seal it up. They couldn't get over the hurdle, and they just couldn't do anything else right in that game today. So I have to give the game balls to the 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo, 18-23, carries and attempts, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I think it's Jeff Wilson. 21 attempts, 110 yards, 1 touchdown. And Greg Kittle, I think that's George Kittle, excuse me. George Kittle, 6 receptions, 93 yards. And this was one of those games where the home team had it from the get-go. And the Green Bay for this one, I took San Francisco, and so did my brother-in-law. We both won on that one. And the Green Bay Packers were beatable, but they beat the Baltimore Ravens by 1 at M&T Bank Stadium, 31-30. This was one of those games where it could have come down to the wire, either a field goal or a game-winning touchdown. So this was one of those games where the opposing team prevails. So, Aaron Rodgers tied Brett Favre's for a major franchise record, and the Green Bay Packers just prevailed in this one. And it was Ravens had the early lead, but then Green Bay had a 14-7 lead at halftime, and it was a 14. It was tied at 14 at halftime. Excuse me, and then in the third, it was 21-14 Green Bay. They scored another touchdown, and then Ravens kicked the field goal. It was 21-17, and then it was 28-17 Green Bay. They had another touchdown. They kicked the field goal. It was 31-17. Then the Ravens scored a touchdown, and it was 31-24. And then it was a touchdown by the Huntley Huntley had scored out the middle for an 8-yard touchdown, but the 2-point conversion failed, and nonetheless the Packers win by 1. So 31-30, and I gotta give the game balls to the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 31 carries and attempts, 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Aaron Jones, 13 attempts, 58 yards, and Marquez Valdez Scantling, 5 receptions, 98 yards, 1 touchdown. So this was one of those games where anything could happen, and it sure did in this one. So, and last but not least, in the Sunday night game, another upset. The New Orleans Saints beat the Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a low-scoring affair, 9-0 at Raymond James Stadium. So this was one of those games where the opposing team just the opposing team couldn't do anything right in this game tonight. So this was one of those games where the opposing team just prevailed. Right now I'm going to get into the score. But Brady and the Bucs just did nothing right, and they just could not do anything right in this one. And Tampa Bay just never scored in this one. Cameron Jordan on the New Orleans Saints gave Tom Brady fits again, and shutting down Tampa Bay's high-powered offense Sunday night as the Saints put the Buccaneers' division title celebration plans on hold with a 9-0 victory over the reigning Super Bowl champions. Despite playing without coach Sean Payton on the sideline, the Saints, now 7-7, beat the Bucs 10-4 for the 7th straight time during the regular season, fourth since Brady left New England. The victory gave New Orleans a sweep of the season series between the NFC South rivals and boosted the Saints into playoff position with a hold on the conference's final wild card. It also forced Tampa Bay to wait at least another week to clinch their first division crown since 2007. But I gotta give the game balls to the Saints. Tyson Hill, 13 of 27 carries and attempts, 154 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. And that's on the rushing end. On the receiving end, 11 attempts, 33 yards, still no touchdown. And Marquise Callaway, 5 receptions, 112 yards, and no touchdowns. It was all a game of field goals tonight for the Saints. And that's just about going to wrap it up for the Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Week 15 Sunday recap show. And I'll be back with the Scott Sports 101 Browns Monday night, Browns and Raiders Monday night pregame show and postgame show, and then the Monday night football pregame show between the Vikings and Bears tomorrow. But until then, Always remember, be a team player each and every day and every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1. I'm done.